Hi guys, this is Mina. Welcome back to another house renovation type of vlog. So let's jump right into it. This is Layla's room, the way it is right now. Her room's been finished painting. We finished painting in her room. The cupboards still need to be painted. The wardrobes are in now, which look amazing compared to what was there before. Still need to install the handles at this particular point. This footage is from a couple of weeks ago. But the walls and ceilings, everything's been painted, windows, frames, everything painted, other than the actual cupboards. And this is the situation in the corridor right now. Everything's had one coat of paint and some filler and stuff, so not quite done there. And our room, at the moment, our wardrobes are installed at this point. Again, no handles yet. And yeah, the walls have all had one coat of paint and some all the filling and stuff like that done. So our room's still not been finished yet as of this video. Like I said, it's a couple of weeks after this. And the spare room on the bedroom floor has basically been completely done as well, and it's currently being used for storing the painter's things and some of our clothes as well. And it's a better look at the hallway stairs. We've pulled up all the carpets, and you can see how before they would have had a stair runner, and it's painted down the sides. So fun times. Little kitty cat intermission, and then I'm gonna go back to past me to chat about the floorboards in our room, because that's fun.
Okay, so the floorboards in our room run this way, lengthways, across the widest width of the room, from end to end. Rather than going this way, they go that way. And yeah, so the previous people, or at some point whenever they decided to put in radiators, the radiator in our room was there. Instead of dealing with the hassle of pulling up floorboards entirely, they cut a channel through the middle of the room to run pipes. So now we have to fix this.
Yeah, so that was a fun surprise when we pulled up the carpet in our bedroom. Don't know if you can tell the sarcasm there. Yeah, so we ran through a few different options of what we could do to fix it. I mean, I guess the most ideal situation would have been to pull up the floorboards that run under our bed, move them forward, and to do this filling in at the back end of the room where it's going to be covered by the bed. But the floorboards are still really long, and like they're the full length of our bed. That's how long these floorboards are. And the likelihood of us being able to pull up the floorboards without damaging them is very low. So we're just going to leave it as is. We're going to replace this channel of plywood with lengths of floorboard. Now, a few weeks ago now, probably about a month ago now, Layla and I went to a reclamation yard and we found some reclaimed Victorian pine floorboards that matched our existing floorboards dimensions. So we got a bunch of those boards, brought them home, and so now we're cutting. Because we knew we were going to have to replace some boards in some rooms. So I'm getting used to using a jigsaw for the first time and cutting boards to the right size to fit into the spaces that we have. Now, some of the spaces are a little bit bigger than some of the others, but most of them are about the same size. I had a bit of a mishap cutting the first lot. Bear in mind, this is my first time using a jigsaw, so we briefly contemplated a different option that wasn't going to work anyway. And yeah, so I definitely learnt a lot through this. I learnt that I need to measure each one out, cut them out, and then measure the next one, because my cutting is not that accurate. So what happened was, with the first lot, I measured out the first 4 lengths that I needed to cut, but then 2 of the lengths ended up being too short because I wasn't cutting exactly on the line. So lesson learnt there. I had a couple of other little mishaps, but mostly turned out fine. I ended up having to cut about 18 lengths of board, each of them roughly around 30 centimeters. Like I said, a couple were a bit more than that, but that took a solid while. Like, it took a long time. And so whilst I was doing that, Perry was busy readjusting the support to go there. So basically, not to bore you guys too much, but because of the way the floorboards are running, the joists are running in the wrong direction essentially. So the previous people, when they put in the plywood stuff to fill in the gap, they put some supports in to hold up this plywood, but the plywood was thicker than the floorboards, so Perry has to readjust the supports to be at the right height to hold up the floorboards. Okay, long story short there. And now get ready for Perry's little chit chat about needing the right hammer for the job.
Well, it's like, why do you have 3 or 4 hammers? It's because you have to.
Welcome to Perry's TED Talk about how many hammers you need.
No. So, learning now with Perry.
How many hammers you need?
Yeah, I mean,
It's like a joke. How many hammers do you need to nail in a nail?
yeah. Alright. That's fun. Now for the other side.
So we did most of this stuff in this video, most of the work in this video over the long weekend at the end of August that we had. Layla was off at my parents' for a whole week before she started school. She was having a week away with the grandparents and having a great time, which definitely was a better idea than her being at home, because she'd have been bored out of her mind whilst Perry and I were trying to do these projects, or I would have been keeping her entertained and then Perry would have had to do everything on his own, which just would have slowed everything down a whole lot more. Anyway, so after the floorboards in our room were done, I set to, I think this is the next day actually, I set to prepping the stairs. So Perry went and got a heat gun to essentially try and strip the paint off the staircases, which he actually did. He did a really good job with it. But ahead of that, I went around all the stairs with pliers, pulling up any staples that were remaining from when the carpets were down, and then going round with a punch needle and punching in, hammering in any like nail heads that were poking up a little bit, because we really need them to be buried into the wood, so when you go over things with a sander and stuff that is, or a scraper for like getting paint off, it's not gonna get in the way. So there was a lot of bending over and pulling staples out and hammering in nails and stuff for me. I will be honest, once I'd finished with the stairs, I was like, honestly, the whole house is such a mess. I hoovered, I think, like 5 times in between everything. It was just so bad. And even then, after hoovering everything, it still feels like it's super dirty. But so here I am punching in the nails, trying to feel around for where the nails are that need to be punched in, trying to catch them all so Perry wouldn't have any issues later. I didn't get any footage of him stripping the paint, but he did do that. He actually went and got a respirator as well, because we don't know what's in this paint that he's stripping, and it's like laying off so many fumes. Like I was like the complete opposite end of the house from him, but I was still getting a headache from the smell, so I actually had to leave at one point to just go get some fresh air. It was really bad. Thankfully that was all done fairly quickly. He managed to do most of it in like a day, so that was amazing. But yeah, so we've mostly prepped the stairs at this point. They'll need to be sanded with an orbital sander, like a little small hand sander, which we have, so that will have to be a project for another day. And then here we are. Now this is this past weekend, so this is the first weekend of September, so the weekend after the long weekend essentially. And so when we first moved in, or shortly after we moved in, my parents came round and they decided that our carpet tiles were disgusting, and they were not wrong. They are absolutely gross and disgusting grey colour, and really old and probably quite dirty as well. So you can see them here quite clearly. And I'll show you later, but Perry found a really good rug for our living room, which we've put down now instead. And at the moment, Hugo is very interested in going outside. It was a very hot day that day when we did this. And our garden is south facing, so the conservatory where we were working has all the direct sun at this point. And we decided to let Hugo have a little wander out in the garden if he wanted to go out there. We sort of closed off the gate that leads to the rest of the garden, so he could only go out onto the patio anyway. And he is not a jumping cat, so he could not scale a fence if he tried. He was a bit wary at first, but he eventually made his way out there. And Layla was doing a great job trying to stop him from eating the plants. But he is a bit of a rascal.
because these are new ones and we picked a different colour so that it would look a bit brighter and nicer in here. Yep. Yeah, can you put it in there? Yep. Alright, let me help. Yes, okay.
Can we do some more?
We're going to do the whole room.
Yeah.
There's going to be lots for you to do and help with.
And please can I help my daddy somewhere?
With Daddy's what?
Can I help?
Yeah, of course you can help. I'm just checking how this works.
This is so easy.
Yeah, this isn't it. Alright. Take this one. Alright, do those two. And then we'll stop for now. Mummy's going to hoover this bit. And then we can put more tiles down. Yeah, let's keep putting some more down now.
Can I?
Yeah, okay. Mummy's going to do some and you can do some.
Because you can also see how they join up together.
You put them in the squares that you can see. There you go. Good job. Good there. Upside down. Good girl. Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright, yeah. Before you get on this, we're going to have to hoover it properly. So you see there's lots of little bits on it. Have to hoover those bits up. Alright.
Okay, back to carpet tiles. I realised I never finished the end of that story. So my parents came around, carpet tiles were disgusting. They decided to get us new carpet tiles. And carpet tiles are fairly inexpensive. Now, I'm not entirely sure why the previous people decided to go with carpet tiles, but they did. So we decided to use the carpet tiles my parents got us to switch out, like redo the conservatory. Originally they were going to be for the living room. We decided to redo the conservatory, and instead we got this rug, and you'll see it a bit clearer later in the video, that Perry found on eBay for like a steal of a deal. It's a handmade Persian rug, but it has a fair bit of damage which we've been able to hide under the sofas. But it's great. It's basically the same size as our living room, so it essentially covers most of the carpet area in the living room. So that's for in there, and for the conservatory we decided to use these carpet tiles, and honestly it has been a game changer, and it has really brightened up the space. It's made it feel cleaner, and it's really kind of like lifted the whole feel of the conservatory room, which is lovely. And we kind of rearranged how we had things set up in the conservatory as well, so all of Layla's things are against one wall. Let's just ignore the fact that her toys are an absolute mess, and we will that's a job for a whole other day. And yeah, so here we are. This is how it looks. We have an extra washing machine because that one's broken and still needs to be collected, and I have a project for that wall coming up after this clip. In the next clips coming up, that map is going. It's a really old map. And so this is the rug that Perry found on eBay for an absolute steal. I can't believe he got it for what he did. And yeah, like you can see here, it's basically a perfect fit for our living room right now. And I don't know what we're going to do with it in the future, but to be fair, like we're not really planning on doing anything downstairs in the living room area for at least a couple of years. So this will be around for a while. And so between this and the carpet tiles, it's a nice sort of little easy quick fix that can really brighten up and refresh the space a little bit.
Now it's videoing.
Hi. What's happening today?
We're doing painting and doing the wardrobes.
Yeah. Someone's going to come paint the wardrobes, aren't they?
Yeah.
So what are we doing right? What's Mummy and Daddy doing right now?
We're emptying up the wardrobe.
Yeah. Good girl. Okay.
What really should we do today after the wardrobes and painting?
Don't know. We'll see what we get up to. We'll have to make you some lunch at some point, aren't we?
Yeah. And I'm going to have a rainbow bedroom. Does that sound cool? And look at my rainbow map. Okay. Very good.
You still recording?
I'm still recording.
Okay.
Recording. I like to record a bit more.
That's right.
Look outside my window. It's so pretty.
It is pretty outside your window, isn't it?
Yeah.
Pretty sunny.
Really sunny. Really, really sunny. Look how much you could be. Very, very sunny.
No.
Layla?
No.
Another way, please, honey.
Okay, so as was explained in the last clip, we're just getting Layla's room ready for the painter to come to do her wardrobes. We actually ended up getting a different painter to do the wardrobe paintings. It's a long story, I won't bore you with it, but I'm just hoovering it all out. I didn't realise that Perry hadn't actually hoovered out the cupboards after the carpenters had been done, so it's full of dust and stuff. Honestly, the house is just dust everywhere. I've given up at this point trying to get rid of the dust in this house. It is what it is until this is all over, and hopefully it should be mostly done by the end of this month, by the end of September, hopefully. And yeah, we will hope that will be the last of it for a while. Like I said, after we do these projects, I don't think we're going to be doing a lot more in the house, at least for another year or two. Okay, so I decided to get rid of that old map from the 80s because that old map still had the USSR and East and West Germany and Czechoslovakia. These places no longer exist as they were. So I took down the old map and decided to put up a corkboard wall type thing. Again, temporary fix whilst everything is the way it is. And I thought it would be a really fun space to hang up Layla's artwork and her pictures and things that she brings home from school and stuff like that, because it is kind of like her space, the conservatory, with she has her art table and she has her toys and things like that. And I thought it would be a fun use of that space. Our fridge isn't that big, so we don't have a lot of fridge space to hang up her pictures and things, so I thought this would be a pretty inexpensive little DIY thing to do for in here. And I got the cork tiles as self-adhesive, so really easy, no mess, and really quick and easy to assemble and put up. And I got them on Amazon for anyone who's wondering. And yeah, went up really well, and she's been in school for all of 2 days at the point of recording this, and she already has a bunch of stuff to hang up on the wall already, so there we go. Alright, so that is basically it for this video. Thank you so much for joining me. I am still working at this point on finishing up some of the decor pieces for Layla's room. So once I have finished all of those, then that video will be coming. It's going to be quite a big one where I'm basically doing all of the DIY stuff that I'm making for her room. Alright, I will see you guys in the next one. Take care. Bye!